Hello and welcome to this edition of Tips and Tricks. Now today I'm going to be talking about the fall drop. It's about the time of the year that it's going to start happening, and the fall drop is, well, I call it the fall drop. And in the fall most of the bait fish and everything will head back into the creeks. Not only your bait fish but a lot of your bluegill, other things are moving into all the back of the creeks. And they're moving in there because there's a lot of algae bloom, there's a lot of like plankton and zooplankton blooms, and so it's just a very rich environment back there. And you might be back there and they're hitting them on the surface, they're getting them on moving baits like jerk baits and cranks and rattle traps and bladed jigs, that kind of active, or even surface lures. And all of a sudden and it can happen overnight, all of a sudden you go back there and all the bait fish, all the shit, they're just gone. Had some cold nights. That's usually when it happens. Starts to get cold. It hits a certain temperature and they all take off. You go back in there and you're like, oh, they're not chasing. I don't see any shad. But you try around with jerk bait and stuff, or the crank and all that. You don't get any hits, and go, oh, the bass must have all fouled them out. Maybe we'll go halfway down the creek and check. Well, no. What they do is they drop down to the bottom, because during this time, usually on the graph, you'll see a lot of suspended fish. Usually all over the lake and around the lake and up near the bank and in the creeks and that. There'll be a lot of fish down about 4 to 6 feet. Well, when this happens, and after those bait fish leave, they often don't follow them back out. They drop down to the bottom. And the reason they drop down to the bottom is because there's another bait they really like, and they're opportunistic, and they're going to go for the easiest meal, which is usually the shad and the bluegill and all that different bait that's in there near the surface, getting all that good stuff. But they also like crawdads. And crawdads are also in there, and they're on the bottom, they're around all the rocks. If there's weeds or wood or all that, they're up in there, because all this stuff that's so good is going to start dying and falling to the ground. You might get some shad that die off, or things that go to the bottom. So the crawdads are in there for the same reason. This is their last hurrah. They know winter's coming. They know it's going to be a bad time for months. So like I said, those bass drop down. So you go in there, and all the places you were getting them on the active baits, suddenly you go in there and go to the bottom. Go with a jig, go with like a drop shot, or like a Texas rig, a bigger worm, or go into if there's cover and wood and stuff, and go start flipping it and going back in it. Because when all these baits up on top, and this happens a lot, like in Pinot and some of the lakes I fish, you see all these fish everywhere, but you fish anywhere on the bottom, or you flip and all that, you won't get a bite. You go around with cranks and other active stuff, because those fish are all suspended and they're looking up to feed, you'll get them. Well, I said the great thing is a fall drop. I mean, I just wait for it. It's like all these other people around, and all of a sudden they go, dude, I was out today and there were no fish suspended anywhere on the graph. And I'm like, the fall drop. And so I'll go around and start flipping all those areas I was getting them on the crank and that, and I'll start having a great time. And everybody else is like usually trying to figure out, they're still using the active baits, and they're trying to figure out like, oh, well, where'd they go? Where are they? Did they follow the bait fish? And if you're in a big long creek or something, you start, oh, maybe they're out on the point and all that. No, just try around the same place you were getting them all on that active bait, but drop down to the bottom. Go with the jig, go with the worms, go with anything that you crawl along the bottom. And I bet you'll have a great time after you think the fall's over. You're like, the bait fish disappeared, the great fall fishing's over. Nope, the fall drop happened. Go in there and start scouring the bottom over rocks or wood, or like I said, there's like lily pads or anything like that. Start flipping them, and you'll find the fish in there, because they went to the next easy bait, and that is the crawdads. Hope this helps. Until next time.